CSN show match number 3. QXE versus NightEnd. Alright guys, welcome to game number 1, a best of 7 between QXE and NightEnd. You can formally introduce the players. I gotta set up the overlay here.
Absolutely.
To imply their colors.
So guys, game number 1 will be played on ESV Cloud Kingdom. Shoutouts to ESV making some pretty crazy sick maps, man, in the community, being used all the time. This is now a ladder map, of course, but in the top right position, playing as the purple Terran, we do have Complexity's QXC. In the bottom left, playing as the red Protoss, we do have Fnatic Raid Call NightEnd.
Yes.
And NightEnd just woke up, but he's excited.
He's not playing at night, even though his name is NightEnd. He's playing the day.
I like that.
Day
joke.
beginning. This isn't NightEnd. This is day beginning for Mr. Fnatic RC NightEnd. So, obviously, I don't know if you ever play. Do you play StarCraft 2 when you wake up in the morning? The answer should be yes, always.
Man. Okay, well, you have to shower. I shower at least. I shower.
Shower while you play, dude.
How can you do
that?
that?
Take your laptop into the shower with you, man.
Okay,
You're
I don't
killing
play
esports.
laptop.
I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Pretty crappy, actually, but
it'll clean the laptop.
I do play when I wake up.
It'll clean the laptop, I promise. Don't do that, guys. Don't take your laptop in the shower. It was a sad attempt at a joke.
People do that.
But yeah, man, playing in the morning is sometimes no fun. Why isn't my control N working? Okay, there it is. Never mind. Yeah, playing in the morning. You know, players like NightEnd pro players. Believe it or not, they'll play when they wake up. I mean, that's what they do.
Yeah.
But as a Joe Schmo, as a person who's not so good at the game like me, I'm okay. I mean, I won't play in the morning. But maybe during the summer, now that I don't have school, I'll start playing a lot more in the morning. We'll see. And I'll stream it and commentate it for fun.
And you know, as they say, when you go to the gym, it's good to go in the morning when you have like an empty stomach because you're more active and you have more energy. StarCraft is kind of similar. I mean, I'm not saying like don't eat when you wake up, but it's when you wake up, you still have a lot of energy, I think, or you have most of your energy during the day, so you tend to play a little bit better, I think. I mean, it works for me, and I hear it a lot from pro players that playing in the morning is actually
interesting,
like a good way to start off your day.
I wonder if you go work out in the morning and then you play.
Oh, you're gonna be on fire.
Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. Ooh, this is gonna be a 2x opening from QXE. Hold on a second. So NightEnd scouted. And he scouted the lack of gas. Now the question is, did he count the SCVs? Did he identify that QXE was an SCV short in order to realize that is in fact a 2-Rex? See what he's doing? He's actually getting 2 gases here. You know, this could imply a fast expand. Actually, only has 2 guys in gas. So, I mean, he could still fast expand. But, you know, getting 2 gases this early does imply that you want to tech relatively soon. So we'll see, but he's not adding on any gateways as of right now. Might wait a little bit longer, but this could be scary. I mean, that's a lot of Marines on the field for QXE. He doesn't care, man. He just wants to go for that quick win, and we'll see if it works.
Yeah, and given the fact the build that NightEnd's doing, he is getting his 2nd gas, so it seems like he's definitely going to go a little bit sentry heavy. The 2nd sentry is actually in production. An interesting decision by QXC. He's going to be aggressive right now with these Marines towards the bottom side of the map, but he's also going to expand behind this. So this is absolutely not an all-in whatsoever. This is sort of like an economic pressure, you guys, I guess you can call it. And NightEnd's expanding too, so interesting that QXC isn't being aggressive here with the Marines. Might want to see him go into the natural. Do a little bit of damage to the NightEnd because there's only a sentry and the Stalker's all the way at the watchtower, so NightEnd might actually be a little bit out of position here.
Yeah, the sentry's going to see this. He's going to tickle one of those Marines, maybe to death. No, he's going to stay alive with 15 HP, but I don't expect QXC to be able to kill this Nexus. I don't know how much damage these Marines are going to do. In fact, I don't think they're going to do any damage because the force field should go down here, and that's what happens. 2 Marines get trapped. 1 Stalker can easily deal with 3 Marines. So QXC's early pressure, it didn't really change much from NightEnd. Now, you could be asking, okay, was he trying to? I don't know, but he's adding on some more Marines here to this aggression, but he still has to do a lot of damage to make this worth it.
Yeah, and this is sort of the style of QXC. He's not afraid to be aggressive with the Marines early on in this game, and as you guys can see, he's actually doing pretty significant damage.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, not throwing down bunkers, but NightEnd should be able to defend this. He's definitely, I don't think he's going to lose the Nexus, but he has 4 gateways, 3 gateways actually, and a robotics facility. Once he warps in enough units, he should be able to clean this up relatively easily, but behind this, QXC's expansion is completed.
Oh, such good micro. NightEnd, don't call me a liar.
Oh.
You know, it was good. He did lose only a Stalker, and he's killed a lot of Marines. So I still think NightEnd is in a fine situation. Sure, you'd be like, okay, you don't want to lose that Stalker. I would agree with you. But, you know, he lost it, and it happens. And I think based on how much, you know, QXC invested into that early aggression, I think NightEnd, I think that was well worth it for him. Units lost shows 400 to 225 in favor of the Protoss player. Behind this, QXC adding on a bunker, adding on his expansion, going up to factory. Only has, let's see, has 2 barracks on the field researching STEM. Do you think NightEnd has a timing here where he might want to do some aggression?
Well, given the fact that he has the 3 gateways behind it, he might want to do some aggression. But the thing is, QXC is now throwing down an additional bunker, so
yes,
he might be a little bit safe in case NightEnd does go for a counterattack. But, you know, look at the positioning of the bunkers from QXC.
Yeah.
A lot of players just line up the bunkers, which is not really the best option because force fields are completely going to trap out the SCV. So he has it sort of positioned in an angle where you're going to have to, you know, kind of look at where your force fields are placed.
Too,
yeah.
So the SCVs can easily just
Absolutely.
jump right over there. But yeah, I don't think NightEnd's going to be aggressive here, considering he left 4 sentries back home that have a lot of energy. If you're going to do a push at this point in time, you're going to want all your forces at your opponent's front door. So NightEnd behind this, just going straight up to robotics bay, using this timing instead of doing aggression. He's in favor of teching a little bit faster. We'll have to see if QXC is prepared for this, considering he has a starboard finishing and reactor finishing as well. So he's going to go into medevac production. The question is, how soon is he going to identify the Colossi play from NightEnd?
Yeah, it's so smart that QXC immediately went into factory. He's going to have medevacs on the map relatively soon. But the thing is, the Colossus right now is on its way for NightEnd. Stim on the way for QXC, also getting a few upgrades. He's going to have an upgrade advantage early on in this game. We do see weapons level 1 on the way for QXC. And NightEnd, you know, you said it. It's going to be a timing. But the thing is QXC going to have the Vikings out in time to defend the timing, or is NightEnd just going to go in, possibly with a 2 Colossus with range here from the Protoss?
Yeah, I don't expect QXC to be the main aggressor in this situation, because once he pushes across the map and sees the Colossi, he's going to be caught off guard a little bit. He's not going to have any Vikings in the air. So once he sees that, I expect him to back away, get those Vikings on the field, and then if NightEnd takes a faster third and QXC realizes that opens up a timing window for QXC. We'll have to keep an eye on that. You asked, is NightEnd going to be the one to be aggressive? I mean, you have to be careful with Colossi when you're going for this fast of Colossi. Your army isn't going to be the most mobile thing in the world, so drops can be very damaging. But right now, QXC coming forward, and he's finally going to spot this Colossi tech. I think, no, the Marine actually going to get denied. So QXC is going to come forward here, and I feel like this could in essence be a trap. And here we go, NightEnd coming forward with his Colossi and sentries, putting down the force shields behind the infantry of QXC, trying to split up his army as best as he can. But the Colossus is doing so much damage, the entire bio army from QXC melting away. I guess the good news is the Marine will try to deny that third from happening, but NightEnd definitely in a great situation here.
Yeah, that was such a good engagement for NightEnd. He used the Stalker to completely deny the vision from the Marine because he was controlling the watchtower, and the Colossus were not caught at all by QXC.
Yeah.
Behind this, in fact, he's not even starting Viking production. Interesting decision. Seems like he's still going to continue making medevacs, adding on additional barracks back home, getting additional upgrades with his armor level 1, even going to get an armory, so his upgrades are going to be a little bit more superior to NightEnd, as he's just now going to throw down his double forge. But behind this, NightEnd is now going to take a third. He is ahead in supply, but QXC might actually... Okay, he scans the observer, and QXC is so good at, like, spawning...
I don't know how he saw that, man. Like, that observer did not move an inch.
Yeah.
Just really good map awareness. He realizes, okay, NightEnd probably waited till I went down the ramp to engage. He probably saw my entire unit composition. His observer is probably right above me. So now QXC can load up a drop now that the observer doesn't see what's going on. And this is what is pretty darn good against Colossi. Colossi are very slow. And look at this, NightEnd going to be caught off guard here. His army is at his third. Some of it needs to be at his natural expansion. QXC is going to drop, and the art of this is he can just lift off and run away right when this army comes forward. And look at this, QXC at the same time sending a portion of his army to the third to try to deny this from going down, and this could be very effective indeed. QXC, he's playing this pretty darn well, considering he has been at a deficit in this game.
Yeah, he completely denies the third. He does a little bit of damage here to the natural of NightEnd. NightEnd did a good job of defending the natural. He is going to have to reestablish that third expansion. But the thing is, QXC does not have a third command center, Alex. He's still very strictly on 2 base. A bunch of barracks here in the main base of QXC, continuing his Marine, Marauder, medevac production, and still no Vikings. This is crazy. I mean, he sees Colossus, and you know what? I'm not going to blame him because I've seen him do this a bunch of times in TVP, where he delays his Vikings, he just continues Marine Marauder off of so many barracks. which is basically what we're seeing in this game.
I'm okay with it.
And so far, he's doing a fantastic job of doing it. He's ahead in supply, a little bit of a supply block, 134 out of 134, 123 here for NightEnd. But this is going to be very, very two-base heavy aggression from QXC. A third is on its way, but he's planning to move out here very soon as we see his units in the center of the map.
I mean, not starting the Vikings right away is fine, as long as you're avoiding the direct confrontation with your opponent's army. So what that means is QXC is going to be relying on exclusively drops at this point in the game, spreading his opponent's army apart, and just hope that his opponent doesn't push out. Because if his opponent pushes out, I expect QXC to just run around the army. He does not want to engage a 3 Colossi Protoss Death Ball. Actually, there's not a lot of ground units in this, to be honest. If he can spread out his Marines and Marauders effectively, it'll be a little bit easier. But I would expect QXC to avoid engaging this, if at all possible, at least before he starts his Viking production. Just relying on the mobility of his force. Kind of like Bio versus Mech in TVT, dare I say.
Yeah, and NightEnd is doing a good job of splitting his units. He does have a few in the natural and a few in the third. Might actually want to regroup all of his units because QXC might be going for a very strong timing, a huge supply advantage right now in the favor of the Terran player. 174 upgrades are also in his favor. 1-2 compared to 1-1 of NightEnd. +2 actually just got completed for QXC, which is going to give him the advantage. But Double Forge is still on its way. We are going to see Charge here getting started for NightEnd. NightEnd is kind of out of position. Units are all over the place, but he needs to group up. QXC is definitely looking to be even more aggressive. Still no third, and NightEnd has an observer in position. He knows that there's no third expansion, and he should be prepared for a very, very strong 2-base timing here from QXC.
Yeah, and it's coming forward to the third. QXC scanning forward, and this Nexus is going to die so fast if QXC targets him down. NightEnd going to try to engage here with all of his Colossi, Zealots, and Stalkers, but a really nice concave here from QXC, spreading his units out very efficiently. NightEnd doing a lot of damage with those Colossi, and QXC getting melted away. But he does have the supply lead here, 140 to 115. That's actually pretty crazy. I don't know how to explain that as of right now.
It's the barracks, man. QXC has a bunch of barracks back home. He's been non-stop making Marauders. He's actually now going to start to mix in a few Vikings. And something I want to ask you, what do you think about his option making more medevacs instead of actually transitioning into Vikings? Because I feel if he had a few Vikings against this, he might have had a better engagement.
I think it's fine. It reminds me of not going tanks against Baneling in TVZ. Again, he's just going to be relying on the mobility. However, this push is going to be very strong from NightEnd. This could be very scary, and at the same time, QXC counterattacking with a bunch of Marines and Marauders at third, denying that. And now QXC is going to try to engage us, pulling a lot of his SCVs. Where are the Vikings? There are 2 in the air trying to target down those Colossi, but there's so many Colossi. Good news for QXC, though, is the ground army is slowly getting whittled away. And once those are gone, there's no supporting units for those Colossi, and the Marauders can simply target them down. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. Meanwhile, QXC bringing his entire army back to try to deal with this force. Now going for the sandwich on the Protoss army. Is QXC going to have enough? This game is incredibly tense, incredibly close. NightEnd has a supply lead, but now QXC has a supply lead, and all the Colossi melts away. QXC holding the push off. He has 3 bases. NightEnd has 2. Income 47 to 28 in favor of NightEnd. This game is actually so close.
That was such a phenomenal engagement from QXC, coming in from multiple angles. He knew that he had the right units. He just had to group back home and group back from the third expansion of NightEnd. And the thing is, NightEnd could not reinforce at all. He had no kind of proxy pylons on the map to be able to go ahead and reinforce with Stalkers, with Zealots. We're actually going to see a few Archons here being morphed in for NightEnd. And there is a counterattack. QXC headed supply, moving into the third with a bunch of Marauders and Marines. And he is trying desperately to deny that third. He does not want to have NightEnd to have an advantage, and the third goes down, actually gets cancelled. But NightEnd, man, mixing in the Archons, but just doesn't have a lot of gateway units. Archons are not really good alone by themselves. You really need to have a few Zealots, possibly a few Colossi. QXC actually just going to attack right into it, knowing that he has enough units. And at this point, there's actually Zealots in the third doing a lot of damage here to the economy of QXC, taking out a bunch of SCVs. But the supply advantage, again, just way in the favor right now of our Terran player.
God, this game. Okay, NightEnd, this third really needs to get up for him. His main is mined out, which means, let's see, his probe count. 47 probes on 1 base. That's not terribly efficient at NightEnd, even long-distance mining with the large majority of his probes. That third needs to get up, and QXC going to focus on trying to deny this. However, there's now a Colossus in this army, which will do wonders for the Protoss ball. The Archon trying to take some damage. Stalkers blink to the side, but look at that! The Nexus gets killed. This doesn't even get canceled. And QXC backing away again with a huge grin on his face.
Yeah, man, I have a feeling QXC went into this game not even caring about what he's going to do as long as he denies the third from Protoss. This is maybe the third time killing the expansion here of NightEnd, and NightEnd is still going to go for a counterattack, moving across the map. with a few Colossus, actually just one Colossus, a few Archons, and just not enough gateway units. That's sort of been his problem this whole game. He's been investing a lot into tech, into Colossus, into Archons, but he has a bunch of gateways, but he's not using his resources to really make Zealots and Stalkers. Yeah, that's a good point as well. I mean, really, really desperate for money.
QXC just keeps denying this third, and that's an awesome way to play Terran. Against me, that's a terrible way to play Terran, because I will just rage and be mad at you. But it's great style, just continually denying the third from your Protoss opponent, prevent that 5th and 6th gas from going down, and you can do wonders with the Bio Army. And look, QXC just keeps adding to it. His army is just getting stronger and stronger. He's at 2-3 on his upgrades. NightEnd is at 2-2, and 3-3 is actually about to finish for QXC, which will definitely be good news for him. We have a Dark Shrine on the way for NightEnd, so probably going to try to mix in some Dark Templar harassment to try to get back into this game, because do you agree with me? I think NightEnd is a little bit far behind.
Yeah, I mean, the Dark Shrine, I love this decision. He knows he's behind. He knows that the third is already up for QXC. He's trying so hard to go ahead and secure a third of his own. So what he can do is he can go ahead and make a Dark Shrine, try to get a few Dark Templars into the main, into the third, into the natural, try to even up the Harvester advantage, because QXC at this point actually doesn't have a lot of Harvesters. Yeah. Only 40, but the army, I mean, the 167 supply, take into account, it's only 40 SCVs, so imagine how strong this army actually is. 172 supply.
Look at the army
QXC.
Supply, a 133 to 69 in favor of QXC.
Huge advantage for QXC right now.
What NightEnd has to do here is just focus on the chokes of this map and have a great engagement. If QXC gets any surface area, gets any legitimate concave,
I agree.
He's going to destroy this army, I think. And NightEnd has to be aware of that. Now, this is a map where you can give yourself superior concave. You can't be taken off guard by drops and such, but now NightEnd is warping in those DTs. And will QXC be prepared for this harassment?
There's a bunch of DTs, man.
Yeah, man.
Moving across the map. There's like 5 DTs here on the map. He scans one, gets rid of one DT. But the thing is, NightEnd, what he has going for him is he finally was able to get the third. If you look at the overall composition, he is going to mix in a few more Archons, or even is a few DTs into that army of NightEnd. Harvester advantage is still in his favor, making more Colossus, a 4th command center on its way from QXC. So he is just spending his money, trying to expand all over the place. Soon going to establish that 4th, and QXC might actually just go for it right now. Ahead in supply, ahead in upgrades, even going to make an additional Vikings to be able to take on these Colossus. And NightEnd, you know, he has a very, very strong ball, but it's all going to come down to where each player is going to engage here.
I agree 100%. QXC poking up the ramp a little bit, backing up, changing his mind, scanning the unit composition of his opponent. Does he have any ghosts in the army for EMPs? Yes, he does. Those are going to be incredibly important to make the Archons a little bit more weak, and of course the Zealots a little bit more weak as well. And QXC just playing for position right now, trying to get a good concave, and he's going to get up this third ramp here. NightEnd a little bit out of position. Now he's going to have to engage in a choke in favor of QXC. QXC throwing down the EMPs, needs to spread out his army immediately. Colossus doing so much damage from above, lasering down the Marines and Marauders. There's so much stuff here from QXC, and NightEnd does not have an answer.
Just look at the control of QXC. He completely dodged everything, and GG gets called from NightEnd. So QXC is going to be victorious here on game number 1 on ESV Cloud Kingdom. And this was so back and forth, man. Just picture how the next games are going to be. These games are going to be amazing.
That game was awesome. QXC played that so well. I'm trying to read the chat. Is anyone surprised that QXC won that game? A lot of people in the early game were like, NightEnd's got it 4-0, man. This isn't going to be close.
Don't count him out, though, man. Yeah. QXC has amazing control, but I think NightEnd is definitely going to put up a better fight next game.
Yeah, let's talk about the game-changing moment. Like, why did NightEnd lose that game, in your opinion?
I think he had the Colossus tech out in time.
Yes.
He was possibly going for a 2-base timing, but it just didn't work out, so he took a third behind it. I feel maybe a quicker transition to Storm. Or maybe mixing in additional, more actual gateway units rather than just teching straight to the upper techs, being Colossus, being Archons, which are of course great, but he needed more units. And the third actually was a big problem here for NightEnd. He was stuck on 2-base for a very long time. QXC did a phenomenal job of denying that expansion, which is exactly what you need to do as Terran. You don't want your Protoss opponent expanding all over the place. Yeah. But you know what? Credit to NightEnd. He tried to get in a few DTs into the game to give himself sort of an economic evening with QXC, but it just didn't work. But you know what? I'm looking forward to the next game and definitely seeing what NightEnd has in store for us.
Yeah, I mean, early on, QXC, like his Marine push, didn't really do what he wanted it to do, which gave NightEnd that timing, which he utilized to tech up really fast. But then QXC just used the mobility of Terran to his advantage, dropping the natural. sniping the third while NightEnd's army was over dealing with that. And as the game went along, QXC just kept building the bio and kept being so abusive, so mobile with it, and just spread NightEnd way apart, so many times. And NightEnd couldn't handle it, but we'll have to see if he can handle it. Game number 2. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with Game 2 of this best of 7. This is the CSN All-Star Show Match Series number 3 between QXC and NightEnd. Don't go anywhere.